What's up, guys? I'm AUSSIE METALHEAD. I'm doing 150 classic albums by the end of the year. Dave's Psychodrama was requested by one of my patrons to do, and I've listened to The Boy Who Played the Harp, and it was absolutely amazing. It was in my, I think, top 10 albums of 2025 out of 200 albums that I listened to. So I'm curious to delve into Dave's discography, because he seems to be like a really nice, conscious rapper that has a nice voice and everything, and I'm, yeah, just curious to jump into all of it. But yeah, let's jump.
Tuesday, 23rd of January.
I don't know anything about
2018. I'm here with David. This is our first session. We're just going to talk about your background.
Quite a cinematic.
From any issues you've been dealing with. So,
Therapy session.
where should we start?
Look, stop all the pain. How do you stop all the pain, huh? I used to hear a voice when I was praying, but nowadays I don't even want to be saved. Nah, fuck that, I don't want to be saved. I was born to be wild, I don't want to be tamed. Talent's in my blood and I don't want to be vain, but if I'm a psycho then I don't want to be sane. I used to dream of this shit when I was hopping on train. So bad, I used to want all the fame. My ex-girl wanna shoot a cover for Vogue, which is pretty ironic cause she's top of the range. If any one of you take a shot on the track, my niggas come back and put a shot in your frame. Easy as the alphabet. 3 G's in a ring, call me Alvarez. My teacher used to say I need counselling. Couldn't stop asking me, what do you feel? There's so many old scars that they want to reveal. We got off on the wrong foot cause I don't want them to heal. Nah, but if you're looking for a psycho, you got one. I thought I had a screw loose, but I lost one. 99 problems, money it is not one. My currency's Kenyan, that's in it for the long run. Tears on a pillow, bro, I shed so many tears on a pillow. I used to tell my teachers that nobody gets it. I don't know Clark, but I know that I'm a kiddo, cause my mummy ain't been home. Miss thinks I'm involved, blame my environment, it made me a sicko. Furthermore, I should bring that bitch down to Streatham and then make her spend a day in the Vale like a widow. Kiddo, we seen swords longer than a limo. My bros are blacksmiths like Jaden and Willow. Man, there's weapons over here, we're repping over here. I'm from the south side, but it's Streatham over here. No telling if you're selling, hold a wetting over here. Get him over here, who the fuck is checking over here? Most my niggas are the ones applying pressure over here. Fuck a soul, I can get a nigga peppered over here. What? We wanted more than some food on a strip or moving a brick. My niggas went to school with the rich and we were broke, hiding crow in a Rubicon drink. Which is funny cause that's how we put food in the fridge. And who am I? Someone trying to live his best life. I just want to take a pretty woman for a test drive. If I bring her to my room and I press I guarantee she's gonna see the force like an ex-wife. People tell me I'm a little bit balmy. For my army I need a bottle of
I like this flow a bit more than the one that was prior.
I'll
talk more about like the lyrics and the content of it in a second.
I'm top boy and I ain't giving man a turn. I don't wanna know when pretty women.
This is a nice flow.
You can judge a nigga by the women that he curves. I love this game. I ain't lost focus. I'm a hit maker. If you haven't noticed, I could be the rapper with a message like you're hoping. But what's the point in me being the best if no one knows it? Brother, I'm a careful, humble, reckless, arrogant, extravagant nigga, probably battling with manic depression. Man, I think I'm going mad again. It's like I'm happy for a second, then I'm sad again. And to my fans, the reason I could get to this, you're my drug, the instrumental, my therapist. Man, I need some therapy. My girl's saying that she'll never leave. I'm scared she's gonna find a better me. Deep insecurities, like, what if I don't leave a legacy? Money, why they check for me? Mommy lost respect for me. I wish that we could be together, but that ain't how life works. I used to cry about my dad until my fucking eyes burnt, nose running. You don't know nothing. Before I put a penny on the table, I provided for my family. Held my mother's hand through the agony. Hey, you ever fall asleep cause you don't want to be awake? In a way, you're tired of the reality you face if you're thinking about doing it. Suicide doesn't stop the pain, you're only moving it. Lives that you're ruining. Thoughts of a world without you in it. Hiding. I ain't psycho, but my life is.
I want to just start off to say I really like the framing of the story at the moment. Like going through a therapy session and then jotting that down. Like what I'm assuming is that this entire thing is going to be like a grab bag of him going into memories while also talking to the therapist and then like unraveling that sort of thing. I think it's a really nice concept for like an introspective sort of rap album. It's kind of sick. Oh, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I do ratings on the side from 1 to 10, and I listen to these albums multiple times over, so these are subject to change. When I listen to these albums a bunch of times, I post the rating to my Discord after I'm done, and you can chat to me about how the tracks that my track ratings and overall rating of the album, and then I also may provide a written review on Album of the Year, which is the site that I used to write rate it to pile all my ratings and all of that sort of stuff. And you also on Album of the Year, you'll be able to see 5 days ahead of time, 5 uploads ahead of time of what I'm going to be uploading on YouTube, so you can kind of get like a little preview. My average rating is a 6 out of 10, but I think that's solely because I listen to more good music than bad. Because people are requesting psychodrama, they're not requesting a bunch of bad albums, so I'm mostly listening to good stuff because my main media diet at the moment is listening to albums from Patreon, because you guys have been so fucking supportive over there, so I really appreciate that. But like, basically I'm trying to go 5 out of 10 as average, so even if it's 5.1, it means I have more positive feelings towards the project than negative. Which brings us back to the album at hand. I'm going to talk about like some of the stuff I liked. I find the production at the start to be a bit interesting with the rapping that he was providing, because it seems like there is a decent level of evolution. When I listened to the boy who played the harp, the production is really gorgeous and like kind of very Christian sort of underpinnings, like orchestral, and I think it really works well with his rapping ability. And it's interesting to see the difference between this, which is so many years ago, like 6 years ago, to the boy who played the harp, because the boy who played the harp, he sounded a bit more polished, but I think it also that won't impact a lot of my listening to this project, that it does sound rapping wise that he's gotten better in recent years, because this is like a more introspective breaking down of the internal character, so that kind of roughness I feel like could help the album. Despite the fact that I really liked the start of the album, like thematically, and the type of story they were showcasing with him being like this defensive person that is lashing out, and he's basically the background of like the therapist like talking to him is like, let's delve deep into it, and his first instinct is to attack, like, oh, I don't need that, I'm a psycho, it's good, that sort of thing. That sort of lying to yourself to and being like playing into this like insecure, aggressive, immature like archetype of like a young boy that's doing I don't know, a rough time. Despite the fact that I liked that, the rap flows on that I didn't fancy too much, like just the way he was rapping about it. But that changed completely when it comes to the second half of the song, because I felt like that flow of like it was very like punchy. I thought it really fit. And then also talking about like the unraveling storytelling wise of him being very defensive, then him getting like the more he just like talks to himself, the more he unravels about himself. It's honestly very normal for a therapist session to act that way, because when you first go in, this is a fucking stranger, so you're not going to just trauma dump unless you've basically turned trauma dumping into something that you do to fucking anyone, and you get like a benefit out of that. But if you're just like relatively normal and you find talking about yourself and like you deep stuff like this that you haven't really delved with troubling, it's going to be hard to talk to them. But what I found out when I'm going to therapy sessions and stuff like that is even with your first therapist, you're going to be a bit coy, you might be a bit defensive, that sort of thing, but the more they just allow you to talk, it's kind of like those JCS videos of the criminals that are trying to cover up a crime or whatever. The more you just allow them to talk, the more they're just going to unravel and the truth's going to come out, because they can't interweave all of this like self lies and doubt that they've done. So over time, you're just going to be more honest if you just talk more about yourself. I think that this song, the only thing thematically I might not jive with too much is the fact that he fits so many things into it, but this is the intro track, so maybe it's going to unravel it a bit more. You have this like defensiveness, you have the background sort of stuff, and then you talk about like there's kind of like anti-suicide messaging that's at the end here, and that's a lot of different themes that you're trying to put into a single song. And I could see that he's like front loading that and then he's going to expand it more. But like if it was just in isolation that this song is all that it has, it's like, holy shit, you're trying to do a lot of different things at the same time. And if this isn't just a front load to like expand upon in the future songs, I feel like it is a bit crammed. But to talk on like I guess one of those things, I actually think that the suicide doesn't stop the pain, you're only moving it is partly true, because you're not just only moving it, you're multiplying it. I think it's like it sucks because any sort of like guilt that you give to the idea of concept of suicide makes the person who is trying to contemplate it feel even shitter, that might lead them to doing that even more, because it makes them feel like they don't think they're worthy to be on the planet, right? So if you're saying like, oh, what you're about to do makes you even a shitter person, they're like, okay, I'm even a shitter person, I should kill myself more, sort of thing. So there's always that sort of thing you have to try and grapple with, but you're multiplying it, because as we know, if someone kills themselves, they're more likely to have the people around them kill themselves. And if you think that like the only reason someone would kill themselves is if they reach a certain level of pain that is quite literally unbearable, then if you're triggering multiple other people to get to that pain that is quite literally unbearable, you're clearly doing more harm than you're alleviating for yourself, which isn't like, it's like a harsh truth that I don't think is maybe too helpful to listen, but like as someone that has dealt with a lot of like mental anguish, that sort of thing, I think it's an important thing to point out, because I feel like there's a lot of, I guess, people trying to deal with the hit away the guilt that they could feel from the idea of suicide, and they kind of like, I think in my opinion, lie to themselves that it's like not a selfish action, because, oh, I'm not actually hurting them, I'm making everything better. It's like, no, you are hurting people. So it's like this tightrope that you have to walk, where it's like you don't want them to feel too guilty, but you also don't want them to just not think about the ramifications of their actions and just lie, like kind of their insecurity manifests to the point of kind of lying about the amount of damage that that action would cause. But yeah, a lot of different things to grapple with, and I'm curious how it's going to like unravel for the rest of the project. Sorry for that amount of yap sesh. There's just so much in this song, I feel. But in saying all of that, because of the concept at large, I feel like it's pretty cool, and this is the first track that opens that all up. And the second half of the track being quite nice when it comes to flow. I think this is like a 6.5, 7. I'll give it a 6.5 for now. It might even go to a 7 later on. It's just the first half of that, I'm not a massive fan of how sparse his sort of rapping felt, because the pauses are fine for dramatic effect, but his voice, or from what I've heard on The Boy Who Played Harp, carries a bit more weight when he's on the mic. He's gotten like a bit more comfortable or charismatic on the mic. So hearing the differences of going back to here, where he doesn't have the same level of mic presence, makes it feel a tiny bit more empty when he is doing rapping on that first flow. On the second flow, it kind of has that punchiness that I think it mitigates that sort of problem that I might have with the track. But overall, there are so many things that I enjoy about this, and I'm really curious about where it goes. Ooh, I like this production. The last production was kind of NF-y, like very 2010s, like conscious rap sort of stuff. Very cinematic sort of vibes that they used to go through.
Look, I grew up in Streatham. Teachers were giving man tests, same time the man them were giving out testers. I got paintings giving man stress. I ain't gotta sex it, message or text it. I don't wanna do you and I like I'm in Leicester, skipping my lectures. We used to ride round all reckless, stolen pets, that's Jillian Vespers. And the feds got my broski restless, said he got a charge on a car, no Tesla. And everybody round me rowdy, I walk in, tell a jeweler, wow me. If you're talking about peas, just allow me. 19, I put 19 on an Audi. I'll never forget that day that I found me the cutest caramel brownie, and the chest and back both bouncy. Trust me, everything shake, no Saudi. My G just came out for a shooting, and Ram's done a madness charting. So the man got something in common, cause trust me, both of their things been barking. If you see him at a drink up parking, do it like Jordan, run up and spark him. My G's been on badness way before they had my stars like Starlin. Really nice, and it's things all love and hate, cause a lot of men love to hate. My young G done draws and apes, now he's cutting through bricks like the 118. And iron on indirects. Diss me and I take that personal. How you gassed off a note that's purple, bet you never got it off white like Virgil. 2 man in an angry murk, that's war with a German, Winston Churchill. It's mad when man wanna murk you, but you know you gotta be in by curfew. And I seen a lot of man get pressured. Why? I grew up in Streatham, and teachers were giving man tests, same time man them were giving out testers. I got paintings giving man stress. I ain't gotta sex it, message or text it. I don't wanna do you and I like I'm in Leicester, skipping my lectures. We used to roll round all stupid, Mitcham Lane, that's Streatham and Tooting. I'm in East trying to link my girl, cause I got a baby, a crossbow like Cupid. Man, I dead her in jail, that's useless. Tell her you, if you got a brain then use it. Now I drive past man I went school with. You was the cool kid, now you look clueless. And I'm still trying to tell man, fuck the Audi, switch it for a Benz. When you're trying to make it out the ends, friends of enemies are enemies.
I really like how focused this track is.
It's
a really nice storytelling track.
Told the dealer need a bigger liter. He told me he's on me when he sees me. I barely remember why we're beefing, but I grew up in Streatham, and teachers were giving man tests. Same time man them were giving out testers. I got paintings giving me stress, nudes and a message, putting in effort. But I don't need a meeting you, like when a chef would eat at his restaurant.
It's interesting to have an instrumental this long. I really like the concept of this, and it kind of makes me think about, like, I grew up in like a sort of I grew up in poverty, right? I don't know if you haven't watched one of my, I'm sorry to pause it, but like if you haven't watched one of my videos, I grew up with a disabled single mother, and she did absolutely fucking amazing. Like, I somehow went to private school despite living off one income, that's welfare, and I was able to go to private school, and then now I'm at university, I'm about to graduate. So that kind of shit kind of proves to the fact of like how far back like my mom was placed in like poverty and so that sort of thing. Like, she must have done a really good job if I'm able to get to this point, right? But I grew up in that sort of place, and it rings true to me, like the way that I was like really good in school until like grade 10 or whatever, and I feel like that kind of is where you start, I don't know, being a bit more focused on girls and that sort of thing. And I was, the way I didn't juggle like my school that well. I went to private school for grade 10 to 12, and I kind of feel a bit bad about this, but like as soon as I went to private school, that's when I started not focusing on my studies as much, and I went from like an A, B student to just straight C's and sometimes failing. So and then in grade 12 I picked it up, and then I graduated or whatever. But like even once I hit university, right, I've been in university for like 6 years because I've just not been focusing on it, because that first like 2 to 3 years was a mixture of COVID, a mixture of me just focusing on talking to a shit ton of girls. And I feel like the reason that sort of thing happens, and maybe it's like I know this song is making me like think about that, is the fact that, I don't know, when you don't have a stable home life, you look for other passages to be able to give you that stability and that sort of like validation and affection, that sort of thing. And it's like a guy that I feel like the closest thing you can get to with that level of vulnerability is girls, because the only place that you can be vulnerable is with girls, because on media or whatever, you never see guys just chatting. You never see people like guys go to therapy sessions or anything like that. The only people that you see guys actually like bare their soul and heart with are girls. So the emotional like connection that they're able to give you, this, I know this is very objectifying or whatever, because we're not talking to them as people at the moment, but and they should be, but this is, I don't know, just growing up as a dude, this is kind of, in my opinion, this is kind of the way that society like breeds you to think this sort of way. And as much as I feel like, because I grew up in like a more feminist household, I did view the women as more human, apart from like the objectification that seems to be running through a lot of media. They're like vessels for, it's like vessels for validation sort of thing, because you can't get that emotional connection from some other place, because you don't have the stable home life that is able to just naturally give you that place. Because you, like, if you grow up in like poverty, you're either going to be financially stressed, so you're always going to be stressed, or if you, like, there's a lot of kids, I don't know about Dave's upbringing, but like if you don't have a dad or something like that, you literally don't have half of the parental figures that you're meant to have in your life. So like the place where you get the most love from, so you're basically getting like half the love form, but like love place, total love, if that makes sense. So you try and like fill that with another void. And I feel like that's a similar thing, is like you have like kids that are growing up in like broken homes that if they're a guy, they try and get it from validation from girls, and if you're a girl, you have like the daddy issue sort of thing, where you try and get it from like men in that way. And I feel like looking back, it kind of just makes me think, if I had a more typical like middle class upbringing, would I be less, or I'd probably be less likely to relate to this track, if that makes sense, because of the using that sort of aspect as a means to get like validation, which it seems like he's trying to do as well. I don't know, I like the track. I would probably give it like, I think it's like good to great. I'll give it a 7.5 for now. Good track. Sorry for so much yap, by the way. We're only 2 tracks in. It's probably gonna calm down a bit. It's a nice, pretty instrumental. I like it. Now, this is something that I obviously can't relate to, but... And I'm very curious to see, like, a England perspective of the Black Platte, because it's that one that I just don't hear about. Like, I only know about, like, American stuff. I know about, like, Australian stuff, but we don't have as many African immigrants.
Look,
here. It's mostly
black is
Asian.
beautiful, black is excellent. Black is pain, black is joy, black is evident. It's working twice as hard as the people you know you're better than, cause you need to do double what they do so you can level them. Black is so much deeper than just African American. Our heritage been severed, you never got to experiment with family trees. Cause they teach you about famine and greed and show you pictures of our fam on their knees. Tell us we used to be barbaric, we had actual queens. Black is watching child soldiers getting killed by other children, feeling sick like, oh shit, this could have happened to me. Your mummy watching, telling stories about your dad and your niece. The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. The kid dies, the blacker the killer, the sweeter the news. And if he's white, you give him a chance, he's ill and confused. If he's black, he's probably armed, you see him and shoot. Look. Black is growing up around the barbershop. Mummy saying stay away from trouble, you're in yard a lot. Studying for ages, appreciating the chance you got. Cause black is in your blood and you ain't even got the heart to stop. Black is stepping in for your mother because your father's gone, and standing by your children when you haven't proven karma wrong. Black is doing all of the above, then going corner shopping, trying to help a lady cross the road to have her walking off. Black is growing up around your family and making it, then being forced to leave the place you love because there's hate in it. People say you fake the shit, never stayed to change the shit, but black is being jealous, you'd be dead if you had stayed in it. Black is struggling to find your history or trace the shit. You don't know the truth about your race cause they're erasing it. Black has got a sour fucking flavour, here's a taste of it, but black is all I know, there ain't a thing that I would change in it.
I thought, actually, I probably should just talk about it now. The only thing I could relate to there, and I don't need to relate to this sort of thing because I find it, I don't know, it makes me think a lot, but like the only thing I could relate to is the fact of like not having a dad. Like my brother was older, but he has autism and he was like, he just struggled a bit, and then he had, we had different dads and his dad was, abusive and that sort of thing. So my mom was like, would focus more on that, but they would clash a lot. And despite being younger, usually you perceive this to be like the older son to step in, but like a lot of the time I was used as like an emotional peacemaker between the two, and I would try and step in as like to console my mom, and then be able to like basically be the mediator between my brother to try and like basically they would not talk to each other, they would have a massive fight, and then I'd have to run between both of them and then like get their perspectives and then try and like relay and be the communicator between the two, like basically just the peacekeeper. So like having to step in as like the more fatherly role, which is I think that would be that's like a very similar sort of aspect I feel rings true to me. And then also talking about the black experience, I don't know how it is in America, because in Australia we don't have a lot of the black experience. It's kind of just, I feel like for us, because we have indigenous the indigenous Aboriginals, right? They are considered black. So a lot of the same like holdovers that like, let's say America would have with their, like with African Americans and a lot of the subjugation there, we kind of have that with our indigenous folk, right? And for like African American immigrants, I don't see a lot of the racism that sort of happens there, and it's not really spoken about. And when I look over to the UK, I don't know much about it. Like for me, what I hear from the UK is like, you have the Tories or whatever, right? And they seem to be mostly Muslim immigration, I think. Like, and they're very popular. And in the same vein, like in Australia, we have One Nation who's going ballistic in the polls at the moment. They might actually end up being the second biggest party, which is scary. But they're incredibly anti-Muslim immigration and Asian immigration. So the racism that we have here is very anti-Asian, like xenophobia sort of stuff for like Chinese folk. And then also very anti-Indian Indian racism. Like if you have lived in Australia, holy shit, it is like genuinely every like maybe like 8 out of 10 people, if like Indian gets brought up, it's like Romani for Europeans. They'll just start spurting shit. So I don't have a lot of like representation of like what does it look like to be black in the United Kingdom, because there is a large like black population there. With my understanding. Now I don't know if this is just weird to say, but it's like I kind of know that because there is a lot of really good fucking footballers from England. Like there's Didier Drogba and that sort of thing. That's like in Europe. I'm pretty sure he's French, but like there is like a strong African immigration there. But I don't know anything about it. It feels like it's on the world stage, or at least for me, it feels very erased, that sort of experience. So having a song that talks about that sort of experience, and how I guess like I can relate to what I've heard about the media when it comes to like Americans, African Americans in America, and how like similar but also different it is I don't know. I really like this song. It gives me like a perspective that I haven't seen. It's like nice representation, because I don't feel like I've seen a lot of representation of black people in the UK or Europe.
Look, black ain't just a single fucking colour, man, there's shades to it. Her hair straight and thick, but mine's got waves in it. Black is not divisive, they've been lying and I hate this shit. Black has never been a competition, we all make this shit. Black is deadly. Black is when you're freezing in your home and you can't get sleep, but never feeling empty, cause you got 20 cousins in your country living stress-free, walking for their water daughter wrapped inside a bed sheet. Black is distant, it's representing countries that never even existed while your grandmother was living. Black is my Ghanaian brother reading into scriptures, doing research on his lineage, finding out that he's Egyptian. Black is people naming your countries and what they trade most. Coast of Ivory, Gold Coast, and the Grain Coast, but most importantly to show how deep all of this pain goes. West Africa, Benin, they call the slave coast. Black is so confusing cause the culture they're in love with it. They take our features when they want and have their fun with it. Never seem to help with all the things we know would come with it. Loud in our laughter, silent in our suffering. Black is being strong inside the face of defeat. Poverty made me a beast, I battled the law in the streets. We all struggled, but your struggle ain't a struggle like me. Or how could it be when your people gave us the odds that we beat? I mean, fucking hell, what about our brothers that are stuck in jail, that could have bust the bell, they held a burden, gotta live with it. Black is being guilty until proving that you're innocent. Black is saying free my fucking niggas stuck inside in prison cells. They think it's funny, we ain't got nothing to say to them. Unconditional love is strange to them, it's amazing. And black is like the sweetest fucking flavor, here's a taste of it. But black is all I know, there ain't a thing that I would change in it.
It feels so interesting because when I think about like the black experience of not knowing like where you're from, that sort of thing, for me, I guess like the closest I can think of for my personal experience is with, I come from a Hungarian background and I'm second generation. I'm Hungarian, and most of like my family were like massacred in the Holocaust, because most people don't know, like I think Hungarians were like the second or third most massacred in the Holocaust. Fuck, they hated us. But we've gotten to a point where like I live in a generation where if you're Hungarian, you don't have any racism towards you. Like back in 40s, 50s, whatever, like Balkans, they were considered like lesser white people, the same way they're like Romani considered lesser white people, that sort of thing, right? So Italians, let's say, when it comes to like the 50s, 60s or whatever, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen anymore. So like I don't have as much of a tie to my heritage. It's kind of, I don't have it. Like I don't really think about my Hungarian heritage at all, apart from the fact that my grandma speaks only, like she speaks English and Hungarian, but she can't read or write in English. So that's like the closest I have to my heritage there. I don't know anything else about it. On my mum's side, I know fuck all about it. But there is like a massive difference, I feel, between that sort of experience of it being like erased by like mass genocides or whatever, between me and like African American heritage. Because African American heritage, you're still facing the issues that you're due to your heritage. Are you still facing those issues because you're not treated as a first-class citizen in like most countries? Where me now, I'm just a white dude, but like 50 years ago I wouldn't have been, or wait, not 50, like 70 years ago I wouldn't have been. But it is just like, it feels like such a like a middle schooler sort of perception, but it's like all of that sort of like anguish, I feel like that is wrapped up in African American heritage. It is crazy that if I think about it through like Hungarians getting massively genocided, and like our country, if you know the history of Hungary, it's actually so fucked. Like there were so many coups and so many like Hungarians just getting absolutely genocided by like invading Romani people and the Serbish people and the Holocaust. Like there was so many fucking genocides that happened to Hungarian people. It's crazy. And I feel like I would have more of a tap into that and if I experience the racism from that. But it's again, this is like a middle school sort of interpretation, but it's like I feel like a lot of that pain and anguish of like the historical trauma, I guess like if I just view it through my experience, it could be completely different. But if like black people were just considered the same, like if we just actually got towards equality, a lot of that trauma probably wouldn't get passed down because you wouldn't have triggers. Like if trauma carries through generations and you have generational trauma, that sort of thing, I think we even know like biologically that you do. If you don't have anything to trigger it, then like it's not going to be an issue that impacts you as much. So if because like I don't get triggered from I get a tiny bit triggered, I guess, like from Nazi like neo-Nazi sort of stuff, or like communist sort of shit, like hammer and sickle stuff. I guess like that sort of stuff I have like a stronger tie to hating those sort of things than others, but I don't get triggered on like a daily basis or even close to, because I don't get treated any different. Like the world doesn't have remnants of those sort of ideologies apart from like fringe political parties and stuff like that. So I think I know again it feels pretty pedestrian, but if we just got to a point where there weren't these sort of triggers in society of black people having to deal with like remnants of the oppression that their ancestors faced, then a lot of that sort of mental anguish could possibly go away if I try and view it through the lens that it might be very similar to how like Hungarian heritage. My understanding is like I don't get triggered to think about my past of them being absolutely genocide, that sort of thing. It's also a massive difference because obviously like not only did black people get genocide in a billion different ways, but chattel slavery, that sort of thing. So there's a deeper history of subjugation there, but yeah. Anyway, that's a great track. I feel kind of bad that I'm yapping this much because there's some albums that I don't talk to that much about, but I feel like I'm sorry if this is annoying, but I don't know, there's just so many things that I feel like Dave touches on that I want. Dave said like it's amazing. I really want to delve into all of it, and it just makes me think a lot more. And it's not a lot of like modern day rappers that sort of do that thing. It's like for me, it's like Kendrick, Dave, J. Cole definitely doesn't, and I'm trying to think of others. Like there's actually very few that I feel like do it. So I feel like Dave deserves like the time and attention into it, but I know that I could be pretty long-winded, so I'm sorry about that.
Look, let's pour another drink, numb the pain. Emotionally detached, she said I'm numb to pain. You're asking what it's like to love, I told her love's a game. You learn that love is pain, then learn to love the pain. I got a purple heart, you got a purple heart. You think my work is art, and I think you're a work of art. But girl, I can't lie, you're a Gemini. I ain't even talking about the star sign. You're my superstar. You're my wish into a shooting star. After hours, you're my movie star, pop star. I got you singing like a rock star. McCartney, she interstellar like Jupiter. You had a shift today, cancel that. I booked a flight, let's go and catch a tan. I'll take you out to Hakkasan. You've had a couple boyfriends, but never had a man. I'll catch him at a traffic jam. Red light, Amsterdam, if he tries to disrespect. Fuck them, man, let's blow a bag in Chanel and get all the niggas vexed. on some different flow. Acting like you didn't know a nigga soul. Gary Coleman, I got them different strokes. You throw it back and now I'm matching your rhythm in missionary. I'm a man on a mission to make your legs shake, to make you feel it in your stomach, in your chest plate. Until the next day you give me head until your head aches. I heard a saying, you get it fast, it never lasts. Forget tape, there's no club inside of a deck of cards. You gave your heart to a joke, now you can try a king. You play it close to the chest, you got a checker past and a purple heart. Wow, you got a purple heart. You think my work is art and I think you're a work of art. I asked her, can you do it like the last time? She said I can, sir, and I ain't talking about the star sign.
I like the sort of soul sample in the background being like massively muted, that sort of thing. It's quite pretty. For the first like half of the track, I felt as if like he was more telling instead of showing.
That you have someone you can trust,
but
especially in the position you're in, and I think it's a really good trait that you are able to find positives despite some of the challenges, for want of a better word, that you face.
Oh, it's interesting that it hasn't been until like this point where like they brought back the counselor sort of interlude thing. It wasn't into but for most of the track I felt like he was more telling instead of showing, until there was like slight little I don't even know the word, tiny little bits showcasing I feel like a bit more underneath the surface of it. So he was like talking about like until your head hurts, that giving head until your head hurts and aching, and talking about that sort of thing. And it's interesting because despite the fact that this feels like a more closed off, immature version of like what Dave would end up being, or detailing on Boy Who Played the Harp, there's still that actual like underlying care in a way for the girls that he's with. Because if someone like, he's being braggadocious, playing into this like defensive nature of like what a guy is meant to be, of like just kind of just like a bit of a whore and fucking everyone, and then just talking about like how many people you're sleeping with, that sort of thing, and getting head and all of that. But there's still like remnants underneath it of him like detailing like that he, this is like a bit of a facade, because when like that's I don't know, it feels like he has this armor that he's showcasing to the world, and that he has to like mask himself with, and then there's like slight little bits, chinks that gets in notched into the armor when he's like caring about the girl. He's like, oh, your head's ache. Well, you don't hear that when it comes to like the most braggadocious sort of vibey stuff. Like, you won't hear like 21 Savage talk about like getting a shit ton of head and being like, she feels like she gets hurt afterwards, sort of thing, if that makes sense. He's not going to reference that. But Dave, despite the fact that he's trying to like posture on this track all of this armor, he has like the purple heart underneath of the issues that are facing him within himself, and it's coming through a tiny bit with like the care that he has and the empathy that he's showing to the girls that he's being with, which I feel like it's even more expounded upon on his most recent album, where he ends up having like a track like Fairchild on it. I don't know, I like it. I'd say this is a 6.5 though, because it apart from like very minor bright spots to me, where it shows that, it felt very telly to me.
If you send me the location, then I'll be right there. Then make her come check you, my baby. No time, no. And my dog is on probation. Another 5 years. And bring girls to his location. No time, no. Send me the location. This year about vacations. Flight catching, train taking. Soon as my nigga off probation. Your boyfriend's on a waiting thing, looking for one wish on a Ray J thing. I prayed that girl, outrageous thing, but she can't see cause I got shades and thing. Bare girls wanna throw shade and thing, no shade, what shade is your foundation in? Darkest grey, the shade I'm in, 49 more if your babes want sin. I had me a famous thing, goals and things, gains and things. My house party, a babe station. Girls wanna chase, it's a status thing. send me the location, then I'll be right there. I make her come check you, my baby. No time, no. And my dog is on probation. Another 5 years. We bring girls to his location. No time, no. Look, playboy, I don't need a carty. I'm captain, I lead the army. Bad.
Interesting to name drop him in 2019. Before like his massive wave of Holo Red.
Your ex-wavy, we tsunami. Girl from India, sweetest nani. Head so good now, speak Gujarati. You hardly pardon me, I'm laughing again. I assisted, man passed my friend. Look, money like the alphabet. If you wanna see P's, gotta pass on the ends. Came a long way from a park in a Benz to an 18 plate man's park in a Benz. Far from the rest, but I'm far from my best. Life is a lesson, I'm passing a test. Yes, everything blessed. I don't want drama and I don't want stress. My girl got finesse, Caribbean flex. Body and chest, tech body and chest. Thank God more, I grew up with less. Just to the right, raps to the left. Arge in the middle, got C to the death. Batch full of dogs with the 16s vets. If you send me the location, then I'll be right there. To make her come check you, my baby. No time, no. And my dog is on probation. Another 5 years. We bring girls to his location. Nigga, I was down, but I made it to the top right now.
I've heard of Burna Boy quite a bit, but like I recognize the name, but I don't know how many times I've heard him. I like his voice.
And all the games you play never stop right now. I pull up on the block, I see everybody watching. Cause it's diamonds on my chain, and it's diamonds on my watch. Money moves, off-white shoes, came straight from Virgil Abloh. I've been down, I've been low, had my mattress on the floor. No me up, no can't building up. Can I ring my cellular? We have a big fat split pulling up. In a the big black Benz pulling up. Please tell everybody to start pulling up. Enough champagne from the bar coming up. Party hard, make I live my life. Nigga, I was down, but I made it to the top right now. And I can pull a couple grand in my pocket right now. Yeah, I'm so fly, yeah, I'm flying in a rocket right now.
I wonder if this is like the more single sort of track. Yeah. Yeah. I haven't heard the track before, but like the way that they're talking about the topic feels a bit disconnected from like the album concept. I was like, oh, this sounds like it would be more of a single. Because like I find it interesting because when we're listening to this, there's like a cohesive narrative where it feels like peeling back the layers from the first track, and it feels a lot more like Purple Heart Black, Streatham. They have a lot more tie to the overall concept, where this one, it's touching on things, like it's touching on like, oh, the probation, the like the, he talks about like the all in Black, all of his friends and all that sort of thing in prison. He talks about going sleeping with a lot of women, that sort of thing. But this feels like a lot more broader. It's not really delving deep into it, and that's instantly when I was like, okay, this is probably just like more the single. And yeah, I've never heard this track, despite the fact it has 687 million views, which is kind of crazy, streams, which is kind of crazy. But despite the fact that I don't think it really ties as deeply to the overall concept, you do need singles in albums, so I'm not gonna like hold it against it too much, and it sounds nice, so it's like a 7 to me. I think it's pretty good.
Smiling like a nice passion. Came on a Rambo thing, everything camouflaging. Looking like a bulletproof vest, nah, that's just a body warmer. Big man gossiping, there's nothing worse. I swear I'm a father for them, man. Bring something larger for them, man. Disaster for them, man.
I feel such a kinship more with like UK hip hop, because holy fuck is it similar to Oz hip hop, and I don't even listen to much Oz hip hop. It's just,
I'm so fly, I might just pop my
it just feels a lot more
Left eye look through your
Similar
soul.
to-
I'm blinded by love while I'm winking at you.
That's right.
Thinking out loud, so you know I'm always thinking about you. Same time, I don't think I'm too irrational.
Fuck beefing with babies, catch a man raving. We're taking your paper, you're yakking your ladies. Fist fight, this bitch bites like it's rabies. Drop from your baby, catch him there.
I'm standing here, bumped into Dave by the Santander. You was in the same spot you was in last year. He said life ain't fair. I know a man who live life in fair.
This time last year, you on the same block standing there. Smoking, gossiping, chatting bare. Don't tell me that you ain't involved. I'm Jeremy Carr, man don't care. Man don't business, love no witness. Hug no traitor, spud no snitches.
Man try live this, never knew he had a clitoris. Have man for breakfast, talk about hit list. I bring the fire, you a liar and a backstabber. I'm with the bone chasers or I'm with the cash grabbers. I'm doing mathematics, automatic, never static. And she don't know my real name, she thought I was Patrick. Sit back and smoke a baseball bat. You think this is the life, but it ain't all that. I done some evil things that I wouldn't take back. I keep it to myself, cause people wanna chat.
Keep it to yourself, people wanna talk. Flossing in the gossips, how you end up in a war. I got nothing for a fed, copper for your head.
Again,
That's
this is
the
like another
definition of a penny
track
for your
similar to like
thoughts.
Location Me, where
We on the same
it's like topically touching on the stuff that he was mentioning, but it's definitely done in like a less depth.
Rip for the pain, they put shit on my name till I grip and I aim.
Dip on a plane with a brand new name. Mummy, I got a flight to catch. All for an internet gangster or a cyberman. Mike Myers, man, a couple tries tried to try, man. My boys put stars in the hood like I'm Strider, man. I know people wearing rollies doing life in can. Isn't it ironic that they couldn't find the time to plan?
Still keep a faith in God, still couldn't spare the rod. Marshall, you know me, I came with a blazing squad.
You better pray to God whenever I'm in town. Like a kid in a divorce, I'm leaving with a spouse. I can't make a horse of the river open its mouth. You ain't got the drive, that's why you're in a drought. Life's great, I'm in Sweden or Copenhagen, getting brain.
It's also like a bit of a simple beat for me, but I can understand it as it's like probably one other one of the singles.
Everything camouflaging, looking like a bulletproof vest. Nah, that's just a body warmer. Big man gossiping, there's nothing worse. I swear I'm a father for them, man. Bring something larger for them, man. Disaster for them, man. Them man there. Make a one trip there, just to make a one thing clear. Then fly out to Edinburgh. I'm so fly, I might just pop my collar. Need a Zubi to roll. Left eye look through your soul. I'm blinded by love while I'm winking at you. I'm thinking out loud, so you know I'm always thinking about you. Same time, I don't think I'm too irrational.
Yeah, I would say it's decent, but like it just feels like the last sort of track where it has the broader themes of the album at play, but it's just trying to not go into too much depth as like it has a feature on it, so it's like more so a single. But I just feel like I prefer the Burna Boy track to this one, just so this one feels like it doesn't have the depth of a Black or a Streatham to me, and it doesn't have the same like sonic appeal as Location for me, so it's just one of the lesser tracks for me. I like this.
I made a link with the Russians, 6-figure discussions, dinners in public, my linen all tailored, my outstanding payments swift like Taylor. And boy, I owe them man a beating, but don't watch what I'm making. Just know I put both of the P's and up at the same time. I put the pay in pagan. Man wanna beef, don't know what the stakes is. Broad daylight, doing nigga on a day shift. Free scales, got 'em living on basic. My location changes quicker than gears on a brand new Porsche Cayman. I told RJ,
I
get
like
down
the
line,
sample
and
though.
he did, but he's got another 3 like H's.
I'd assume
I
it's the
gotta
sample,
watch
like the
for
pitch shot
greed and the
vocals.
hatred. I'm saying who's on votes. We'll hit up a nigga and see who's on smoke when it's that time. You can run that shit there and it's cool, but you can't hear like a bad line. It's been 15 minutes since me and her fucked, and I'm saying we still in the house for. girls say I'm rude, but they won't ever leave. Cause you know the jab right like southpaws. Outdoors, me and my niggas are root outlaws. I tell a man speak with respect. How you gonna say that we beef for your chest like Sergey didn't G-lean on your set? I do not have one need cause a friend. If it's beef on the ends, then it's peak for them. This thing's coming like Pokemon Go. Cause I seen man once, never seen him again. Man don't really wanna walk to the shop or jump on the train cause the ends got tension. One eye on my ops, two eyes on my friends, cause at least my ops man knows their intentions. I turn a loss to a lesson, I turn a curse to a gift and a blessing. Any girl that I've got an interest in, face interesting, body impressive. I got 99 out of 100 marks in class on my English questions. I get the same if I did it again, cause I still don't know the definition of resting. I put blood in, I put sweat in, I shed tears when my niggas got sentenced. I spent years with my niggas in Streatham, but you wouldn't know that cause you don't live this. What have you done for your siblings? I made sure that the family's sweet. So many days that I starved myself just to make sure that my whole family eats. The Merc is a beast and I'm blacking it out. 1.9 on the plan for a house. I ain't got a memory of when dad was around. Still a child when I turned man of the house. Tell me what you know about a bag full of bills and your mum crying out saying, son, I can't take it. And then staring in the mirror for an hour with a tear in your eye like I gotta go make it. Ever seen a good friend turn pagan? A pretty girl glow down turn basic? Ever seen a nigga enough man rated losing his mind cause of food that he's taking? You're either a lamb or you're Hannibal. Good
I love
kid,
how
but
this
I grew
beat's
up around
building.
animals. No chick can't tell me about attitude. I got a girl from the Screwface capital.
Like, it's not like a super creative beat, but I think it just really works, especially with like the lyrics that he's throwing down and the way he's rapping is like very fucking nice. So it's like a simply great track, I feel. This is a nice little production ass part. It's a bit cute. I like it. Maybe the instrumental parts go on a bit long, but yeah, it feels like a longer outro than needed to be for me. It like doesn't sound bad, but like I feel like the track was pretty great, but like this probably puts it down to like it's like a good track for me. Like this feels a bit unnecessary, the minute and a half outro for me personally. Well, that sounds gonna be pretty.
People see when they look at you.
Look, you see our gold chains on our flashy cars. I see a lack of self-worth and I see battle scars. He has to be with 20 man when he wears jewelry, and you see it as gangster, I see it as insecurity. Where I'm from, everybody wants to make it out, but nobody wants to see somebody make it out. It ain't about who came around, but more about who stayed around. Behind the scenes, they say God gave us eyes to see. You see the video vixens and all their pearly whites, but you don't see the dirty nights, long days and early flights. You see the deals and think all these rappers laughing now, but you don't get that if we weren't already, we're a target now. You see all the groupie girls and think they're heaven sent. I see 25 minutes worth of empty sex to tell a lie. It wasn't my intention to objectify, but I can testify. I seen some shit you couldn't rectify. You see this industry where everybody came up. I see a bag of weird rappers and some fake love, fake handshakes and fake spuds with fake comments, where everybody covers costs but never pays homage. The scene turned on me, people trying to ruin me. Where most would see a problem, I'm seeing an opportunity to drop a freestyle and kill them niggas that were booing me. I made my haters watch and put the screw inside of scrutiny beautifully. Also, if I am attending, security's coming first, like I was trying to shop at duty free. Where the fuck's the unity? Where I come from, there's no class, forget truancy. We have got now in common. Them niggas see a molehill and make a mountain from it. They see a Cuban and a whip, I see a house deposit, how to stop it. Niggas saw keys and went to trial for shotting. I saw keys, learned to play and made thousands from it. You see the club popping when we do the show, but you don't see the studio. My life is not a movie, bro. Champagne bottles and all the screaming girls. It's ironic how you'll never hear a scream for help. Fucking hell, why do you think we're going through the same thing? Depression when you make it, the pressure and the hatred. Your people talk about you, you can't say shit. The moment that you ain't it, the labels are looking for replacements. Same shit, people start forgetting what you've done for them. Everyone in music's gonna take until there's nothing left. Your fans are switching up on you, and they don't know how tough it gets. Reading through your old comments, trying to feel some love again. I see karma. Go to work, but God schemes harder. I heard success can come quickly, but it leaves faster. Secrets are what my enemies have been after. Only L's I'm hiding in my closet have a V after.
Interesting. I would say this is just a great track. It also feels really odd that I feel like I can relate to at least some of it, because despite the fact that I wasn't big whatsoever, I have a gaming channel that I basically have abandoned for this because I've grown up. I'm 24 years old. I can't keep up, because basically I was just good at games, and that's the reason why people watch, right? And that takes a lot of time. You have to fucking play a shit ton, and I'm about to graduate, and I'm gonna move into adult life. This is easier to do, and it's another passion of mine. And it's probably it's just another passion of mine. I don't have to, and it takes less upkeep. But I had a channel, 16,000 subs, and I think 50k on TikTok or whatever the fuck. And there has been times where what he talked about with you look at old comments to see the love that you're that you used to have and that sort of thing. Because everything, when you're in that sort of grind, I guess. I was making a video every day or 2 videos every day. You don't actually stop and take it in, right? And now that that's sort of dried up, and while I was making this channel, before I got a lot of support, which feels completely different, because getting a lot of love for just who I am feels so much different to me being good at games. So this still feels fucking surreal to me, and I wouldn't be surprised if the same thing sort of happens in a few years, where I'm looking back at these comments, I'm like, holy shit, the amount of love I was getting. Yeah, that sort of thing is weird that despite the fact that he's in a completely different avenue, that I could relate to that, looking at past comments of the support and love that you were getting. I think this is a nice track. I really like how all of the themes that he's been building up here, of the facade that he's been putting on, the mask of the braggadocious sort of alpha male sort of thing that he was trying to have in do, and the slight chinks in armor that have been showcasing. This is kind of bearing that armor fully away. I like it.
So looking at it from another perspective, playing devil's advocate, considering you're obviously becoming famous, so to speak, but you still deal with a lot of issues on a human level, do you ever just sit and wonder about the stories behind the people you meet day by day? Does it make you feel grateful in a weird way for your life and problems?
Interesting.
Look, they say the universe, it works in a strange way. And it must be true, because we ain't from the same background or same place. But me and Lesley ended up on that same train. I'm talking every day. I used to wake up around 7 or 8 to catch the 906 from Norbury Station. 2 different worlds in the same location. And one day we ended up speaking. And I would talk about college, she would talk about meetings, and how she's planning on leaving, how she hates what she does but she needs it. I asked her what she would do when it's the weekend, and she said, I don't know myself, I don't know myself no more. She used to be the life of the party for true, and now she going out hardly ever. Her man got her in the yard forever, and her friends wanna help, but it's hard to tell her, hard to let her know that her man's possessive and aggressive. And And she can't even see it, but for them it's clear as day. She's in a situation. Her friend Hannah had a man that was manipulative, so she can see it from a mile off. Turtleneck jumpers, makeup around the eye spots, all the signs were there. But Lesley made it seem a light affair, said it wasn't right to share. Her boyfriend, he was a mystery man, didn't know much about him, but he's been in a can. Name's Jason, he's a bad boy with no reasoning. To be honest, I don't know what Les sees in him, cause she's a good girl with a sweet heart, but they both got demons and a deep past. You know, opposites attract, apparently. Never heard her talk about her family ever. He was all that she had, until they had an argument and he stopped calling her back. And I don't know if there was more to the story than that, cause she plays things down, but according to that, he went missing one day in the morning, he ran. She's doing overtime, struggling affording a flat, till she lost her job, it fucked all of her plans. Couldn't pay the rent, borrowing and calling for cash. But Hannah, she was there for her, care for her. When I saw Les, she told me, I don't know myself, I don't know myself no more. Les saying I got nothing to live for, it's been raw. But David, I ain't never been this poor, there's no income. My boyfriend left me, so how the fuck am I gonna survive when his kid's born? And I said it's a blessing as mad as it is. And Les, I never even knew that you were having a kid. Bro, she's 4 months pregnant, young and neglected, single, but I don't think she wants to accept it. So she's still texting exes, trying to get this back on track, but I don't think that she gets it. It's emotional obsession, clinical depression, life is a lesson. You ain't gotta sit and cry. It's Lesley living in this gift called life. There's no better gift than the gift of life. So, can you handle it? I don't know myself.
I find it interesting that he has
But that changed her perspective.
he has a formula. Like the boy who played the harp did a very similar thing, where you have like Lesley and Fairchild, a very similar type of tracks placed very similarly in the overall narrative.
Told her she's pregnant, and they're the closest of brethren, so she didn't stunt to tell her. I think that it's an error. You ain't a mum for a day, you're a mum forever, whatever. And you and Jason break up whenever. If I'm honest, that's something you should have done together. She doesn't know that her and Jason going out again, and Jason doesn't know that Lesley's carrying a child for them. She had daydreams of settling down with Jason, better cause now they're together. It's wild, feeling like she needs to call her friends and tell them, cause wow, she's letting them down, but most of them are never around. She calls Hannah the next day, still trying to figure out the best way to tell her that she's getting back together with an ex-flame. So she left her a voicemail, like, yo Hannah, it's Les, can you call me back? I wanna talk about the baby, you, me, Jason, all of that. I've been feeling like I need to get my aura back. I used to be so fucking confident, but these days, I swear that I don't know myself, I don't know myself no more. It's 3:30, Lesley was meant to get a scan, but today I think she's going home early. Trying to talk to Jason, tell him about the kid, addressing any reservations, have that conversation. Middle of the summer and it's raining, waiting at the train station, hella cancellation. So she gets a taxi, sitting in the backseat, blue jean jacket and a maxi. Actually tired and her legs are aching, touch the destination, way faster than a cab driver's estimation. She put the key in the door, she couldn't believe what she see on the floor. Some size 5 trainers, raging, tears in her eyes, but it's cool, cause they must be the neighbours. And Jason's in the bedroom, fully naked. Lesley running up the stairs, but she's making noise. And she can hear Jason's voice saying hide in the closet, but he's made his choice, so she bursts in, saying what kind of person would cheat on his pregnant girlfriend, Jason. Saying what the fuck, you're pregnant, what the fuck? You weren't even gonna tell me, I mean what the fuck? What do you want from us? Nah, you ain't in love, you just wanna love. Lesley telling Jason, I don't wanna love. I don't wanna you and I don't wanna us. And also, I don't wanna talk loads. One more line before I dash like Morse code, open the wardrobe. And Jason's on the edge, I just wanna see if she was prettier than me, slimmer than me, maybe your baby similar to me, maybe you wanted someone thicker than me, fitter than me, to satisfy you quicker than me. I got your baby in my stomach and you did this to me. What did I ever do to you for you to finish with me? I didn't believe my girls, but they were thinking of me, and give it to me. The wardrobe, give me the key. I was pulling at the door, but Jason's bigger than me, literally. I remember viscerally, Jason pulling from behind me, now he's gripping on me. White flashes, eye gashes when he's hitting me, see. I just wanted to disappear, I wasn't living for me. Physically, I shut the fucking doors quick as can be. He's outside asking why I made him do what he did, using a kick to open up the room that I'm in. I'm feeling afraid, barricaded with a chair and a handle. I'm hearing sirens, I just wanna run away, but I can't. Jason's gone by the time police are coming. They saw that there ain't no one else in the house, and feds are running through the door shouting. We had reports of an argument with a woman, there's blood all over the floor and it's splattered onto the wall. Lesley's on the bed and she's trying to speak to the feds. She's deep in the stress and there's meters above her head. If anything, she couldn't even say anything, but she's got this really sharp pain where her belly is, so they call the ambulance. Lesley didn't plan for this. Police are in the room trying to find a missing piece of the puzzle until they stumble on something that's kind of random. It's a phone in a wardrobe. They had 5 missed phone calls from Jason and also a couple other numbers, so they're thinking that it's no help. Until they play the voicemail, like, yo Hannah, it's Les, can you call me back? I wanna talk about the baby, you, me, Jason, all of that. I've been feeling like I need to get my aura back. I used to be so fucking confident, but these days, I swear that I don't know myself. I don't know myself no more. She felt sick to her stomach, she started panicking, mind rattling, trying to understand what Hannah did, battling the shame cause the situation embarrassing. She's trying to fathom it, betrayed by her own garrison. Meanwhile, she's on the deck trying to manage this, piercing pain in her stomach, she couldn't handle it. Now she's waiting for an ambulance. Look. And I know she's strong, but when I heard about what happened, I was over-shocked. Her nose was gone.
Sorry for not talking, I just
shattered and rocked. They
very
said her
into
baby was the reason
song.
she was holding on. She's dozing off. Doctors getting no response. Her heart rate slowing down and they don't know what's wrong. Picked her up, got her out the home and onto the stretcher for good measure, but she's fading out. She took damage to the brain and now she's in a coma as we speak, but I ain't sure if she can make it out. You see, this time that I'm taking out to tell you the story is more than a song or track. It's a message to a woman with a toxic man. I'm begging you to get support if you're lost or trapped. I understand that I can never understand, and I ain't saying that it's easy, but it must be right. Some of your sisters, aunties, mums and wives are fucked inside and they will never touch on why. I'm touched cause I've seen women that I loved or liked cry a little red tear for a bloodshot eye. This shit's awful. No matter what culture, it ain't normal. Men try and twist it and make it seem like it's your fault. In that train full of people that you're taking, how many Leslies are running from their Jasons?
Angel without wings, like the day without the night, to bring her peace. A song without a voice, a spark without a flame, a child without a name. Oh, it's just wrong.
He has a really amazing knack to make these like centerpiece tracks, like Fairchild and Lesley. I'll talk a lot more about the track after, don't worry.
A spark without a flame, a child without a name. Oh, it's just wrong.
Well, we've made a massive amount of progress in this last year, haven't we? Feels like a long journey. And I must say, it's been a pleasure to watch you mature and grow in thought and in your career and life. You've opened up immensely. I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't miss these sessions. But you know, you can never stop learning about yourself. So you're always welcome. I'm just happy you're at a place now where you feel you understand your emotions and are in control.
I really like that he's able to make these very grand storytelling of like serious issues. I appreciate that. I can see, but I appreciate what he did more on The Boy Who Played the Harp than this one, because this track, the lead in for this, wasn't anything to do with like personal unraveling, which is a therapy session should do, right? Like, you should be personally unraveling himself. If I'm being honest, The Boy Who Played the Harp reads more sonnet, like thematically, as a therapy session of him unraveling the way that he acts, and then eventually how that sort of thing can manifest into Fairchild, right? Where this one, it feels, if I just look at this track, I think it's really fucking good, like insanely good. But if I look at it through the lens of the album, we had this therapy session. He details his like past and all that sort of stuff. None of that relates to this. His through line, his connection into this, the link to this track was, now put yourself into the shoes of some people that you've met. That there wasn't much build up for that. The album wasn't really about that. This is just like a standalone piece that's really good, right? It doesn't, I don't think it fits into the album as much, because on The Boy Who Played the Harp, you see him grapple with the subjugation that he's like a part of when he thinks that he co-signs the issues that happen in when he goes to like Dubai and that sort of thing. And the judge says like, I need to talk up, but like, what am I doing? I'm going to the same place that have like slavery and a lot of these human rights violations. He talks about his own personal, how his views on women are a bit fucked, right? And he talks about that. And then he talks about, like, he details a lot of the issues that he ends up talking about on Fairchild. And it kind of culminates, and he's just like, shit, I've done, and it hits harder because on that track, he talks about like, holy shit, am I the same? Because he's detailed all the stuff that could be similar to, and what could lead to that sort of like mindset, right? On this, it comes out of nowhere, and I like the track. Like, I think it's a really great track, but it lacks the same level of punch to me as Fairchild because there hasn't been a lot of build up. The only like connection, but he doesn't even outright state it, where on Fairchild he does, like the connection between him and this problem. He doesn't connect the issues that he has of like the defensive nature, I don't know, him getting, like, when he's talking about, like, getting head, all this sort of stuff, like, all this materialistic, like, hedonistic desire, he doesn't relate that to the putting himself in the same position as the person here, and it could be related. He could be something similar, like A Boy Who Played the Harp, but he just doesn't make that connection. The connection he makes is, you're famous now, put yourself in the shoes of some people that are in your audience, sort of thing. And it's a lot less of a gravitating pull to this sort of story, and it's a bit sad because I think this track is really nice and really well done and a really good story, but because it doesn't have that personal tie to him that he has for this entire album, and it feels a bit more disconnected from this project, it doesn't have the same emotional weight that I think it could have, like he ends up doing on Fairchild. In saying all that, I think it's a great track. I think Fairchild's like a perfect song, like the way that everything works all in tandem together. I think it's perfect. With this one, it doesn't have the same sort of linkage. But in saying all of that, incredibly, I do like the fact that he seems to have a bit of a formula of like, hey, I'm going to talk about like my issues. And so a lot of people, like a lot of guys, well, probably his audience, listen to him. They get invested into a sort of thing like, oh shit, I relate. And then he throws in like a message about like crimes and issues that men are committing and how we need to kind of stop it, right? I think that's like a noble effort. I just think he does it quite a bit better on A Boy Who Played the Harp than on this project. But in saying that, I still like it. Like, that's just a objectively good thing to do. And it's a good use of his art and talents. Because he has really good storytelling. So, yeah.
I gotta speak out. I know heartbreak well, man, I got her on speed dial. Me and suffering got the same dad. Me and pain go way back. And it's hard.
This feels weird to come right after.
Oh my love, I hear voices. Oh my love, I hear voices when I sleep. Oh my love, I hear voices. And the voices, they say you're everything that I need. I can't get 'em out. I can't get 'em out my head. I can't get 'em out. Look, I don't wanna waste time.
This feels so
Heart aches, my G, I could
weirdly
get her on a
placed.
FaceTime right now. Mother's life.
like this could easily just be cut, right?
Envy, that nigga lives on the other side. But I struggle my brethren and I hustle my
Like, he just feels tacked on.
I heard the regret, but I don't know him as well as my last few exes. All this pain must be the reason that oh my love, I hear voices. Oh my love, I hear voices when I sleep. Oh my love, I hear voices, and the voices, they say you're everything that I need.
Like, I actually just kind of think I don't like it. Like, it's just so unnecessary. We just came from Lesley. Why do we have this random track that is the worst version of Location Disaster, that sort of thing, of like this like pop sort of track that it doesn't really touch on the whole thing.
Think to myself, what the fuck am I doing wrong?
Like, it's so generic. It doesn't really tie to the album concept. It comes right after the most emotionally potent track, and serious track, and it's just kind of like, I don't know.
Man grew up round sweets and cling. Now we pull up to the club with the sweetest things. I can't even play with a thing if she ain't 19 on the FIFA thing. I don't care what beef man's in. You can't pull up round here on the Egypt thing.
It's just, I would just say it's bad.
I hear voices when I sleep. Oh my love, I hear voices, and the voices, they say you're everything that I need.
Like, why?
I can't get 'em out. I can't get 'em out my head. I can't get 'em out.
I don't know. It's also like, I'm not going to like be overreacting. This is the why I do track averages for my album ratings, right? Like, because this track, as much as it's like placed at the fucking end of the song, we're just coming off the climax of like the last track, and as much as I don't think it links into that, like the album links into that track as well as it could, it still is like the finality of like the like emotional peak of the track. So just have a random fucking song that means nothing at the end of it, like low-key ruins the end of the album and everything that you're working towards it. And if I was like a more emotional person that didn't set up a system where it's track averages, it's like I would drop the point, like this album, by like 2 points, because why the fuck does this track even exist here? It makes no sense that it exists here. It ruins the emotional appeals that you have done for the entire album leading up to Lesley, and you just place this like actually fucking stupid track at the end. It makes no sense to do this. It's also not it's the worst song on the album, not close, when it comes to literally just like listenability to the points that it's trying to make, because it's not really making anything. It's just the worst track on here, and it undermines the last track and the entire album that you've done. So like, if I didn't have a system where it was just track averages, this would drop so much. But I guess thankfully to the album, actually I would just give it a 0. Like, I think it's trash. Like, it's just dog shit. And but like, it's only going to drop the points by a bit because of how dog shit this track is. But like, on a spiritual level, it's like, what the fuck why would you do this? It makes no fucking sense. It's just like
saying, bruv, many nights and prayed, bruv.
What does he have to? What love does he have for that track? To like, this would work as a connector to Lesley.
You know, time. It took a while for man to recognize, boy, who he was gonna send, and you know what, man? I'm very proud, very happy to say he's one of my own, innit? And boy, although none of this is easy, you know, I'm just proud to be witnessing what's going on, man. You know.
Look, I don't know where to start, but I just done my first psychodrama, and I hope the world hears my craft. I'm excited, man, I pray you get to hear my craft. From my childhood, our mother didn't hear me laugh. I'm presenting you the future, I don't fear my past. I ain't got a tattoo anywhere near my arms, but best believe on my sleeves where I wear my heart. Do you know how easy it is to be a sinner? How many losses you need before you can be a winner? Reason with a criminal that needs to eat a dinner. Is it survival of the fittest or is he a killer? Losing dad was big, losing you was even bigger. Never had a father and I needed you to be the figure. We're forgetting we had a brother that was even bigger. We were figures just trying to figure out who could be a figure. My brothers never spoke to each other when I was growing up. I remember trying to build a bridge, I wasn't old enough. I pray I hold the game for as long as you man can hold a grudge. Years went by, I know it's fucked, I had to hold it up for mummy on my own. I know it's tough, I got the coldest blood. I remember when you got sentenced and I was throwing up. It's like they took a piece of my freedom when I had opened up. I just lost the only fucking person I idolized. For my entire life I copied you down to the finest line. Bro, I got a flame in my mind that I'm trying to firefight. The pill I had to swallow wasn't bitter, it was cyanide. I learned over time, separation issues I described are probably the reason that I struggle feeling anything. I ain't got a vision of a marriage or a wedding ring. It's world domination in music or it ain't anything. I'm obsessed, focused on the objective. Tell a don yes, disagree I object. Used to treat my women like an object. Girls want a monster, come and see I'm the Loch Ness. Settle for a lot less. I just hope you're proud of me, brother, it's been a long stretch. You're my hero, and prior to this I was living on the edge like a house on a cliff. But now I'm living in the present like my house was a gift. I'm going psycho, this scene's mine, bro. Rappers wanna diss me, it's only online though. They put the mic and soft in a micro. Soft, not eyebrow. Swimming only time I can lie though. And let me be genuine, anybody richer my age is American. Kicking ball or inherited. It only makes sense I'm independent, knowing everything had happened how I'm telling it. You niggas aren't getting it. I'm coming from the struggle, I survived and I'm still here. Used to bump train, that's two ways, I don't feel fair. I don't know trust, I know a tight bond will tear. Like a good wig, I can't tell you if it's real hair. I'm from South London, brother, people getting killed here. You can make a meal, but you can lose it if you're still here. I lost over 30 grand to family, I'm still here. The word don't appeal to me, you steal from me, I'm still here. Bro, I wasn't made for this. I don't get a break, but I'm aware of what breaking is. I wish you could take a hint as well as you could take the piss. I don't even speak to our brother, man, I just pray for him. It's never too late for him. Life is at its craziest. Walls started caving in. All the things I've seen would turn atheist. I didn't get 99 marks in English, I was faking it. I got 98 cause I don't know what a vacation is. If you saw God, what would you say to him? If given a
I think this track should just be placed on the album a bit differently, right? Like, you have the connection. If you want to do the connection of, like, oh, how are you going to... I actually think it would work better if, you know, that connection on Environment to Lesley, where he's like, now put yourself in the shoes. This level of insecurity, that sort of thing, makes sense to the entire project. And I think it is a better launching off point into Lesley. So I think if you just had drama before Lesley, and this is the track that ends up leading into Lesley, and that's the finality of it all, I think it'd work a lot better. There are some lyrics, like, he's like, this is my first psychodrama, so it makes sense, like, he's referencing Lesley, like, this is my first project, that sort of thing that he's, like, touching on, and he's like, here's my skills, that sort of thing, of being able to be a nice storyteller. But, with a few bits of editing, and just putting this track before Lesley, and just removing voices, because why the fuck did that track exist? I think it would work a lot better. Or you could have this as the last track, but you just remove voices. It's just, yeah, remove voices so much, like, that's a necessary fucking aspect, because that song is so shit. And put drama before Lesley or after Lesley, depending on how you want to do it. If you want to have the callbacks of, like, this is what I'm doing. But, I don't know, thematically, it feels very weird to have such a high, like, not a high point, such an emotional, like, grabbing point that you have to think about when it comes to Lesley. And then ruining it with voices, and then going into drama. Talking about, it's weird because if you just had this straight after Lesley, it could be a bit strange tonally, because it's like, why are you just talking about yourself? Like, you just had this like really positive like activist sort of track that you're making, like this massive broad message, and then you instantly don't link it to anything that you're talking about as much here. It vaguely links, but like mostly you're just talking about yourself, which could come across a bit weird tonally. That's why I think you should end with Lesley, and then you should have drama before Lesley, and again, remove voices, because holy shit, that song's bad.
Would you have taken it? If you could rewind time, what would you change in it? Do you believe in what an angel is? Furthermore, do you believe in what the devil is? Do you believe that I could illustrate what Streatham is, then break the fourth wall and base Lesley on my relatives? I'm grateful for my life because I aim for this. Every bad moment, every single fucking day of this. People looking at me, that's what fame can bring. But to understand the stairs, you take steps, then retrace the shit. I tell my circle the future's ours, we're shaping it. Your past is just the reason that I came to this. I thank God for the pain because it made me this.
I like this track though. Quite a bit.
In the front room, freestyling, bar for bar. I don't even know how old you was these times, bro. Probably about 10, 9. Yeah, man. If I think about it now, think about the transition. Them days there, you had no bars, but to be real, did anyone feel? You know what I mean? The core context, bro. Well, it was all mad fun, but I think the stuff I'm doing today, proper, man. You know what I mean? I think man's definitely blessed to see how the whole thing's come together. From times when I think it was Jekyll and Hyde, man. Played man that one there. I was thinking, yo, this one here's a banger, bro. I remember when I heard that one live on the airwaves for the first time, bro. I was pumping it. Man come to my door, he's like, bro, man, that's a bit loud, you know. I was like, fam, that's my brother. He's like, yeah. And you know, on your birthday, man send you a little card, and it begins, Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to him, the Lord has not chosen these. So he asked Jesse, are these all the sons you have? There is still the youngest, Jesse answered, but he's tending the sheep. Samuel said, send for him. He will not sit down until he arrives. So he sent and had him brought in. He was ruddy, with a fine appearance and handsome features. Then the Lord said, rise and anoint him. He is the one. Bro, you know what that means? Say no more, man.
Yeah, pretty good ending. I'll give it like a 7.5, probably. Yeah, that's so strange. Voices sully the end a bit, quite a bit. But overall, I see the vision, and I can actually I see quite well how he got into The Boy Who Played the Harp, which I think is it's cool seeing the evolution of him. Like, the production has gotten a bit more interesting when it comes to The Boy Who Played Harp, but it's still nice here. It has like a cinematic sort of storyteller vibe. He still has that ability to be able to do that. It's just he's able to, like, on the most recent album, I feel like he's able to tie all of the themes a bit more connected. But it's really, yeah, I really think it's cool being able to see his starting point, and I think this is a pretty good album. I think overall, it's hard to say how the averages will work out because I can't do it off the top of my head with voices, and also I have to do re-listens, right? But overall, I think it's pretty like decent, a good album, and it's very there's a lot of thought-provoking tracks. Like, there's Black, which I think is quite thought-provoking. I think Environment's really nice. Leslie's really good. Streatham's really nice, and Psycho was a really nice, like, the concept of this therapy session. I think that he kind of underutilizes that sort of context of the therapy session. He, like, it's it feels like maybe a bit tacked on, because you could have an album without any of the therapy session stuff, and I don't think it would change all too much. You're just kind of adding a slight bit of like, oh, I'm a bit pro therapy. That's basically the only thing he's kind of adding to it, because it's not like he's talking to his therapist much. Like, there is this call and response, like he's like, oh, now tell me about this, and then he goes out and says a bunch of shit, right, and like uncovers, but it's like not used to its like full potential. It's not like there's a track on here or with a back and forth every line that he's saying, where like the therapist is being like challenging his own inner demons, that sort of thing. Like on something like is it Streatham or Purple Heart or something like that, where he's talking about the issues that he sort of has with like viewing of women, that sort of thing. It would be kind of cool, and it would lean more into the concept if like the therapist like would interject and be like, yeah, but what about this, and then he's like kind of arguing with the therapist. I feel like that would make it more, I don't know, captivating. But overall, still pretty decent, good project. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching this far. I'm sorry if I was yapping too much, or if I was like boring or not. Whatever you want. Sorry if that's the case. But if you did enjoy this, watching is more than enough. But if you want to support further, you can go to my Patreon. It's $5 a month for 50 minute or less album requests and early access to months and months ahead of time for projects. And then also on top of that, if you upgrade to $8, you can get 90 minutes or less. But also on the $5 album request, you can pick from if you don't want to do one album that's 50 minutes or less, you can do 2 classic albums that I have a list of 360 albums that I want to do, first listens, that are classic albums. And if you pick from those, you get 2 instead of 1. And a lot of those 2 albums are longer than 50 minutes, so you even get more value on top of that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Absolutely love and adore you. Peace out.